What's going on, everyone? It's Nick here, and welcome to another episode of NOS Cards. Today is a special day because I know of at least one viewer who has been waiting for this video to drop for a long time, so shout out to Ethan. He's been asking me about it forever, and he's like, hey, when are you going to post this video? When are you going to post this video? I think finally now is the time to do so. So thank you, Ethan, so much for waiting for this moment, as well as all of my other viewers. Today we're going to look at my collection that I have gathered since November of 2020 when I first got back into collecting these cards. These cards, some of them are valuable, some of them aren't. They're in my collection and I've kind of set off to the side just because I either think that they were really cool, because they had some value, or just because, you know, they might be nostalgic for me. This isn't everything that I have. I have a huge binder full of V cards that you guys have seen me pull, V Maxes, full art trainers, holographics, and reverse holos, shinies. So I have a huge binder full of that stuff, but I figured that this part that I'm going to show you is the stuff that I, again, have set aside, because I think it's, again, either valuable, nostalgic to me, or I just think it looks cool altogether. So before we move forward, please hit that like and subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it, and we will be on our way. Alright guys, so something that I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the video. At the tail end of this video, we're going to look at some graded cards that I finally got back from PSA. They are the Rainbow VMAX Pikachu, also known as the Chunkachu, and the Rainbow VMAX Charizard. I sent them off to PSA back in March, and I got them back about a month or two ago and figured I would find out what the grades were when all of y'all did. So please stay tuned for that. And then at the very tail end, there's another card that we're going to look at that also happens to be graded that I was very, very fortunate enough to acquire. So please stay till the end, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So just to kind of start things off, there might be a story behind every card, and to be honest, I don't really know how long this video is going to be. Typically our pack opening videos anyway are anywhere from like 25 to 30 minutes, but if I have a story behind every card, this might take a while. But we do have some cards to go through, and we're just going to hop right into it. So my all-time favorite Pokemon is Entei, and I have a Black Star promo from the third movie that is actually currently being graded. So we'll start things off with a Japanese Entei that I was able to get essentially for free. I made a deal with a guy who collects some Pokemon cards, and he was like, hey, what's your favorite Pokemon? And I told him, I was like, well, Entei's my guy, always has been. So he was very, very gracious and kind enough to give me this card essentially for free. It's from Neo Revelations, which is actually my favorite set, and you can tell just by that little symbol right there. And so I figured I'd start this off. Again, this card's probably not worth too much, but because he's my favorite and the fact that I was able to get him for free, wasn't expecting it, I thought it was awesome to get. So moving on, we have this Lugia Vivid Voltage. Cards with this kind of stamp are essentially very, not necessarily rare, but they can be, because they're only available in the build and battle boxes that I believe I've shown on here before, and so that's the only way you can get them. You can only get them in those pre-release build and battle boxes, and this Lugia from Vivid Voltage is really sick because, I mean, who doesn't like Lugia? So moving on, we have another one, but this is from Battle Styles, and it's a Houndoom. Same thing, it has that stamp, that Battle Style stamp. And the reason why I have these two in my collection is because I really think that's cool. I like the stamp on those. I like the fact that you can only get them one specific way, and that's the only time they were released. So there's a finite amount of these based off of the amount of build and battle boxes that were released. So that's why they're in off to the side in my collection. The next few cards that we're going to go through are just holographic cards that I thought were really cool. They're known as cracked ice holographics. You can kind of tell just based off of the holographic pattern, it looks like ice is cracked, hence the name cracked ice. And I just really, really like that pattern. So we have that Dragonite there. We have a couple that we're gonna go through real quick. Alright, so we have a Cinderace holographic. That's the same thing, the cracked ice look. The Raikou, I got 2 of these. Again, some of these aren't really worth that much. That's not the point. The point is that I think it's cool. The cracked ice holographic, for whatever reason, just really jumped out at me, and I really enjoyed it. So that's why I set these off to the side. Here's a Pikachu with the rainbow, which pretty happy. Alright, I think I have a couple more of these. Here's an Empoleon. There's Aurora. And I believe that was it. Next is a holographic Xerneas, if that's how that's pronounced. And I just like the holographic pattern of the card. Sorry for that glare there. But I just like that wavy motion. Again, card's not necessarily worth that much, but I just thought it was a cool card nonetheless. This is a reprint of a Feraligatr from, I believe, Neo Genesis, possibly. I might be mistaken on that. It's from, I believe, Dragon Majesty, and it's cool because it's just a reprint of the original Feraligatr that came out. This is from the 2nd generation, and I just thought it was really cool, so again, that's why it's in here. Next is a reverse holo Zapdos card. Again, nothing special. This is from Vivid Voltage. The only reason why it's in here is because I think the artwork is cool, and Zapdos is definitely my favorite legendary bird out of the 3. And again, this thing is not necessarily that valuable. I'm going to say that probably a lot throughout this video, but I just like the artwork on it, and I really love Zapdos. So the next cards are just other cards, the reprints from the original set through XY evolutions that I just like having because it just reminds me of, you know, being a little kid again. So here's a Pikachu. It's again a reprint from XY Evolutions. You can tell by that symbol down in the right corner. And this is just the Yellow Cheeks Pikachu. There's another card in the original set where that's also red, so that's why I did note saying that it's yellow instead of red. Again, nothing special. It's just a reprint of the original card, and I thought it was cool. Same thing here with Charmander. I actually have 3 Charmanders, just a normal one, and then 2 reverse holos. Again, they're just reprints. Nothing too special about them other than the reverse holo nature of the cards, and I just thought it was cool to have them. Again, just for nostalgic purposes. This card you guys have seen before because I had no idea they even existed. This is also from XY Evolutions. The Imakuni's Doduo, the artist decided to make a card with himself in it. So I think that was pretty cool. Again, don't know how valuable this thing really is, but I just thought it was really cool because I haven't really seen it before, and it was my first one. So I just figured, why not? We'll take a look. Now we're getting into some holographics and some other things that we have here. So this Stoutland, these cards are really cool because they have the trainer with them and they're holographic full art cards. This is one of the very first ones that I was able to grab. Didn't even know they existed until I started collecting, and I just like the whole artwork behind all of them. I mean, it's really cool. I like the fact that their trainer is there with them, and so that's the reason why I ended up setting these off to the side. My favorite out of this type is actually probably this one, and it's a Weevil holographic full art, and you have a gym leader from the 1st generation, Koga, right there. And so I just thought it was really cool because, again, I never, you know, I didn't really, when this set came out, I wasn't collecting at the time, and I never knew that they did cards like these, and so I just thought it was really cool to have not just the Pokemon but the trainer behind them as well. Next card is a Pikachu card. That's really cool. It's holographic. It's pretty much the same style as those other 2 that I showed you, but it's just 4 of these Pikachu mounted, or I should say just, you know, playing Dogpile, and I just thought it was a cool artwork, cool card. This card's maybe like 20 bucks, and it's just a cool looking card, especially if you're a Pikachu fan. I'm not necessarily, but I just thought it was a cool card to look at. Next, we have an Eevee VMAX. It's a promo card. You guys have seen it from Shining Fates. I have one of these. Actually, I have a lot more, but one that was really well centered. Most of the promo cards are pretty cool, so you're probably going to see a few of them in here. But since you guys have already seen this, we'll just kind of move on to it. Here is a GX Tag Team card, another promo card. You get Celebi and Venusaur. They're just really cool cards. Again, I love promo cards. A lot of them are in pretty good shape, centering everything's on point, and they just look really cool. The Tag Team series is very popular just because it shows 2 Pokemon instead of just normally 1, and they're just super popular. So it's nice to have some in your collection if you have any. Next one, we have another tag team. It's going to be Eevee and Snorlax. This artwork, it's obviously a lot different than the previous ones. And again, this is another promo card. Just something that's really cool to look at. You know, it's one of those cards. It's actually one of the first cards I got out of a 10 when I first collecting, before I even started this channel. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder what's in Snorlax's mouth, because that's a little weird. But other than that, it was a cool card. I like the artwork on it. You know, it kind of reminds me of no disrespect to the artist, but it kind of reminds me of a younger kid trying to take its crack at trying to draw. So I just like that, and I don't know if that's what the artist is going for, but it's just what it reminds me of and why it's in my collection. The next card we have is just a Gyarados GX, another promo card. Nothing special about it really, other than the fact it's Gyarados. It's cool. The holographic pattern on it's cool, and I just like it, so that's why it's in here. Next, we have a Jesse and James full art trainer card. That is, I believe, from I don't know if it was Shining Fates or if it was XY. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Either way, you know, growing up watching the show, you see these two guys with Meowth, and so the fact that they had a full art trainer card I thought was pretty cool, and so that's why I ended up keeping it. Again, not necessarily worth that much, but for nostalgic purposes is why it's here, and it's pretty well centered as well. Next is the Marnie card, which I believe when this video is posted, it'll be after when we pulled this. Or I shouldn't say pulled, it came in the Marnie tournament box, I believe, and it was really the only big thing out of it. It's the full art trainer promo card for Marnie. It just looks really cool. Marnie's a fan favorite right now, and the fact that you can only get this card through that box makes it somewhat rare, so that's why it is in here. Next, we're going to go through some V and VMAX cards in no particular order. This Mimikyu V, Mimikyu, even though it is essentially a fake Pikachu, hence the name Mimikyu, surprisingly is very popular and a very popular Pokemon. And so I believe this is from Battle Styles, and we ended up picking this in the collection because of how many people like Mimikyu. I wouldn't have, you know, put any second thought into keeping it in the collection, but the fact that a lot of people actually like Mimikyu increases the value of this card. So even though it may not be worth much right now, I'm hoping that in the future it will be. And this card is fairly well centered and in great condition. Most of these cards are near mint condition, so that's why this is in this collection. Next, we have an Alakazam V. You know, nothing cooler than an Alakazam with 2 spoons. Alakazam is really cool, one of the original Pokemon from the first generation, and this full art card is pretty styling. So that's why it happens to be in here. Next, we have a VMAX Urshifu from Battle Styles. I believe I pulled this on one of my other videos as well, so you guys have seen it before, but it's a cool VMAX card. Urshifu is definitely one of those Pokemon that people are they like, but they aren't necessarily in love with. But the VMAX cards from the set are really cool, and so that's why he is in here. This next card is also from Battle Styles, and it is a golden Octillery. if you guys watched one of my Battle Styles videos, we were trying to pull one of these, and I believe the Houndoom as well. I was able to find this at a local shop, and it was in great condition. Didn't have any issues with it. The centering is pretty much perfect, and it had no whiting anywhere. So for being able to find it out in the wild, I took a chance, and I've been pretty happy with it. So here is that golden octillery card that we were able to grab. Ideally, we like to open them in packs, but I'm not one of those people who is picky about how he accumulates his cards. So there you guys go. Next, we have some stuff from Hidden Fates, and we're going to see one of my favorite promo cards all time. But before we do, we got some more tag team cards, and it's the Legendary Birds, and they're rainbowed. I got 2 of these guys. I'm probably going to end up grading them both. A lot of these cards, I'm waiting until PSA calms down, and I'm actually going to get them graded. And so these cards are just really cool. Again, Legendary Birds, they are from the first generation and are very popular. So I actually pulled both of these fairly close to one another. I think out of back-to-back 10s before I did the channel, I believe. So here you guys go. And then these 2 are the Hidden Fates promo cards, and for me, I personally think this is the best promo card period out of an Elite Trainer box. I love that stained glass look. I think it's amazing, and again, I think it's just the best promo card period out of all the ones that you've seen, or all the ones that are out there. So that's why these are here. Again, I'll probably get these graded as well. Both of them are centered fairly well. Most promo cards are, and they are both near mint condition. So next, we have some more promo cards. If you guys haven't seen a theme yet or caught on, here it is. That's the tail end, I believe, of the promo cards, and they're the gold cards from the Zacian and Zamazenta Elite Trainer boxes. So we got 2 Zamazenta V's right here. For the most part, centered fairly well. This one's a little off center, but this is really cool. There's a lot of gold, a lot of black. Again, these aren't necessarily worth that much, but I just like the artwork, and I think that they're really, really cool. And then we have the Zacian to take a closer look at as well. And same thing, same design, and it's just a really, really cool card to have. Next, we have a couple of rainbow cards. Here's a Lapras VMAX Rainbow. Rainbow cards, a lot of them are very popular. Some people are strictly rainbow collectors. Me, I don't like to discriminate. I go after all sorts of cards, as you guys have seen, and I just like the look of rainbow cards. I think they look awesome. They're like hyper rare cards, and depending on the Pokemon, it's just a really cool look. Here's another one. Eggy Slash VMAX Rainbow. Again, not necessarily worth that much, but I just think that the artwork is cool. These rainbow cards, you can kind of see they're textured, and so that just adds another element to the card, not just from a looks standpoint, but from a feel and touch as well. And then we have a Pierce Full Art Trainer card, and same thing. It's just a rainbow card. It's really cool. This card is fairly well centered for the most part, and is just a cool trainer card if you like Pierce. And again, the rainbow cards for me, they're just really cool to look at. Again, you can kind of see that texture, and they're probably going to grade fairly well too, at least the ones that I have on me. So next we have an Espeon GX card. This Rainbow Espeon is amazing. Espeon and Umbreon are the 2 main evolutions from Eevee. They're fairly popular. I'd probably throw Jolteon in there as well. But just another cool rainbow card. This one isn't textured like the other ones because it's from an earlier set. But again, rainbow cards, they're special, they're rare, and are kind of hard to come by. So there you guys go. Our last rainbow that I can remember is the Full Art Leon card from Vivid Voltage. Leon, I believe, has become everybody's favorite gym leader and just overall trainer from the newest region. I've pulled a lot of these cards. Unfortunately, I was able to pull this card on a pack that I didn't record. Sometimes I like to do it just so I can, rip to myself, and then, luck would have it that you guys aren't able to see me open it, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. But just a really, really cool full art card. A lot of people are going after this guy again because he's becoming the favorite trainer, so definitely good to have in your collection if you guys have one. Next, we're going to get into some shinies. Here is a shiny Garchomp. Garchomp is one of those dragons from Gen 4 that people absolutely love. I was able to find this in a card shop for relatively cheap, and I'm like, you know what, that's a cool looking card, it's shiny, and I gotta have it. So that's how it came to be in my possession. Next, we have a VMAX Lapras. If you guys remember that Rainbow Lapras has the same artwork, but this one just happens to be shiny. This one is from Shining Fates, and it is just a really cool card to have. Next, we have a couple promo cards that you guys have seen from 10s or Premier boxes. Volton V, just a really nice centered promo card that's shiny. Same thing with this Crobat and Crobat VMAX. Same thing, just a nice promo card that is well centered and is just super, super cool. Next, we have the Dragapult V and VMAX. I'm not spending too much time on these because you guys have seen them before. They're just really cool cards to have. Again, they're promos, really nice promos, and it's always nice to have a full art shiny Pokemon. Next, we have Ditto V. Still trying to go after that Ditto V Max. That's shiny, but this full art V is the next best thing. A lot of people actually prefer this card to the V Max just because of the full artwork and the way it's laid out. So, yeah, it's a nice card. Very nice card. Next, we have the Noivern GX. This card we pulled from the Hidden Fates, I believe, when we were back in Indiana, and it's just one of those cards that kind of just jumps out, pops out at you. So here you guys go. A lot of this stuff is from Shining Fates, so you guys have seen a good chunk of these before, but here's this Rillaboom V and this Rillaboom V Max. Again, not necessarily worth a lot, but I like the shiny Pokemon. I think they're really cool, and full arts are awesome. Rillaboom is the favorite, I believe, from this Gen 8 from the Galar region. So it's nice to get that, not just from a value standpoint in the future, just because this artwork also looks really, really cool. Alright, next we have Toxtricity VMAX, one of the things, or one of the cards we were trying to go after in the Shining Fates, and we were able to pull it fairly early. Just a cool looking card altogether. It's probably one of my favorites out of Shining Fates, just because of the way he's laid out and the fact that he's looking like he's getting ready to lunge at you. So really cool card. Centering's off a little bit, but it doesn't matter too much to me because at this point this card is just, it's one of my favorites out of that set. Next, I don't believe you guys have seen, because I was able to get them outside of opening a pack. They're shiny Pokemon from Hidden Fates. If not beforehand, I could be mistaken, but it's a shiny Greninja. Greninja is one of the most popular Pokemon out there, even more so than Charizard, surprisingly. So Charizard just gets a little bit more credit because he's been around longer, but Greninja is definitely one of the top favorites. One of the reasons I ended up getting this card, one, not just because it looks awesome, but because of how valuable I think it will be in the future. This card's probably about 50 to 75 bucks if I had to take a guess right now. It's pretty well centered. I have no whiting on it whatsoever. I'm going to definitely get it graded, and I think it's going to be one of those cards in the future that is just going to skyrocket. So that's why he's in there. Next is this Espeon GX. I don't believe I pulled this one. I believe I pulled that Rainbow Espeon. But this one, same thing. It's just one of those cards that's really, really cool. The Umbreon shiny as well, when he's all blue, is really awesome too. Still looking for that card. But same thing as the Greninja. It's just one of those cards that really pops out at you because of the color change. And it's just really, really, really cool. Lastly, we have this Lucario GX. Same thing with the story of Greninja. Lucario is one of those Pokemon that a lot of people love. They love that and its pre-evolution Riolu. I was able to get this again fairly cheap. This is another card that's probably anywhere from like 50 to 75 bucks. It's fairly well centered. I don't believe there was any whiting or anything on the back either, so this is one of those others that I'm definitely going to get sent into grading to PSA once they calm down. But just another overall cool card. A lot of people like this Pokemon, and this card is really sick, so it had to be in the collection. Alright guys, so that was the first part of my collection video. I decided to break it into 2 parts just because of how long the video really is. So please stay tuned for the second half of that video where we get to look at the graded cards towards the tail end. I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. So please hit that like and subscribe before you go, and I will see you next time. Bye.